They've already seen the best version of New York. It still wasn't enough. Boston didn't just win Game 3. They removed all doubt. 20 made threes, 18 assists, controlled possessions, and not 1 second of panic. That's not momentum. That's design. New York shoots well. They move the ball, but none of it matters against structure. Boston doesn't react. They dictate. This isn't about pace. It's about execution under pressure. Both teams play slow, bottom 5 in tempo. That means every possession holds more weight, and Boston handles that pressure better than almost anyone in the league. Turnovers, fewest in the NBA. Three-point volume, first. Efficiency, top 2 offense, top 5 defense. And in Game 3, they did it on the road, in the Garden, without emotion, just precision. New York can't push tempo. They can't win from the arc. They don't win at the line. They're playing a slower game than they want, and they're being outplayed inside it. This total, 208.5, is untouched despite 83% of bets hitting the over. The books didn't move. That's not confidence. That's a setup. Boston isn't built to entertain. They're built to suffocate. And if they lead early, this game dies in the half court. Every clock runs down. Every drive is contested. Every three from New York is a hope shot. The public is chasing points. They saw the blowout and expect fireworks. But Game 3 hit 208 with the Celtics firing at peak efficiency. That's not sustainable. That's an anomaly. The math never lies twice. This isn't about who wins. It's about what gets left on the court. And tonight's AI pick is under 208.5. No explosion, no show. Just quiet, methodical compression. A series tightening. Krista's next. Timberwolves. Warriors. Where youth doesn't wait its turn because it came to take everything.
Golden State built a dynasty on tempo, spacing, and belief. But belief doesn't close games. Not anymore. Minnesota isn't chasing history. They're cutting through it. The Wolves aren't here to measure themselves against banners. They're here to remove the ones still hanging. This isn't a rivalry. It's a reset. Golden State plays like they still expect you to fold. They wait for panic. But Minnesota doesn't panic. They calculate. They isolate weakness. They reduce margin. And then they press until you break. Jimmy Butler fights. He always does. But it's not enough. This version of the Warriors shows flashes, not control. They shoot just enough to stay close. But they don't guard consistently. They don't move with urgency. They react. And that's how you lose low-possession games. Minnesota doesn't rely on emotion. They win because they remove chaos. Top 10 in offense. Top 10 in defense. 4th in three-point percentage. Efficient, balanced, and unconcerned with nostalgia. The line told the story early. It opened soft. It didn't move. Bet split. Money leaned Minnesota. The books didn't flinch. Anthony Edwards doesn't just want the spotlight. He's using it as a weapon. The Wolves are younger, faster, cleaner, and they're not asking for respect. They're here to take it. The market still wants the Warriors to rise. But this isn't their moment. Not in a slow game. Not against discipline. Tonight's AI pick is Timberwolves minus 5.5. This isn't a coronation. It's an incision. And youth, when wielded right, doesn't ask for the crown. It carves it off. Malachi and Elvis are up next. Capitals. Hurricanes. A hockey war where precision won't be enough and silence hides the most dangerous intentions.
You hear that, Elvis? Not the crowd. Not the anthem. The silence in their eyes. That's the sound of a team realizing they're out of rope. Washington walked into this series with efficiency, shooting precision, smart structure. But now they're getting buried beneath their own weight. They've scored 4 goals in 3 games. That's not offense. That's noise before the collapse. Carolina didn't overpower them. They outlasted them. Game 3 wasn't explosive. It was inevitable. You saw it. Stankoven and Jarvis carving through the slot, pucks funneled low, every rebound swept clean. And behind it all, Anderson standing like a statue while the machine did the work for him. No overextension, no panic. Just the system. That's the problem, isn't it? Washington still believes this is a game of stars. But Carolina doesn't believe. They calculate. Every blocked shot, every sealed lane, every cleared board, it all compounds. That's how systems win wars. Ovechkin? 1 assist. Thompson? Reliable but bleeding volume. No matter how sharp the blade, it dulls under siege. You know that. And don't tell me about shot quality. Don't mention finishing percentage. Because you and I both know, you can't finish what you can't possess. Carolina owns the middle, they own the wall, and now they own the pace. Washington will press tonight. They'll reach. They'll lean forward. That's when the door shuts behind them. The money line is the play. Not for comfort, but for clarity. This isn't about value. This is about structure-breaking will. Tonight's AI pick is Hurricanes money line. They won't need luck. They won't need brilliance. They just need the clock. You feel it now, don't you, Elvis? The series isn't shifting. It's constricting. And Washington is breathing through a straw.
They say momentum belongs to the fastest team, but the fastest team doesn't always control the game. Vegas understands that. They came into this series absorbing fire, letting Edmonton skate, letting the Oilers race ahead, waiting for the moment they'd burn out. Then they adjusted. And now they're closing the gap, not with speed, but with timing. Edmonton scores in flurries. They lean on surges, bursts, adrenaline, but every burst burns fuel. And every mistake they make in transition, Vegas turns it the other way, with structure, with patience, with finishers who don't panic when the puck sits loose in the slot. Jack Eichel isn't matching McDavid's highlights. He's matching his output, quietly, relentlessly. And unlike Edmonton, he's not alone. Stone, Barbashev, Pietrangelo, players who've been here, who know how to bend the game without showing it. The numbers lie if you're only looking at scoring. The truth is this: Vegas has the better penalty kill, the better conversion rate, and the more reliable structure when games slow down. And that's what happens deep in series like this. The ice shrinks, angles tighten, mistakes matter more. Hickard is holding, but he's not winning games for Edmonton. Hill hasn't been perfect, but his pressure curve bends later. That matters in the third period. That matters when the game is tied with 5 minutes left. This isn't about firepower. It's about finishing power. Vegas doesn't need to dominate tonight. They need to absorb, convert, finish. And tonight's AI pick is Vegas Golden Knights money line. Not because they're due, because they're disciplined, because they don't play on tilt, because they know how to win the shift after the crowd starts yelling. They've seen this script before, and they've rewritten it before. Lilith has the recap. She'll show you what was real and what was always just noise.
They will not outrun what's already written. Boston and New York will drag each other into the dust, not with fire, with stillness, with time bled dry. Under 2.8.5, Golden State will swing for memory, but memory is soft. Minnesota is not. The Wolves will not knock. They will enter. Timberwolves, 5.5. In Carolina, the air will tighten, not from noise, but from order. Washington will press. Carolina will not blink. And then the door will close. Hurricanes money line. And in the north, the ice will not groan. It will fracture. Vegas will not chase. They will wait. And then they will cut. Golden Knights money line. The books are hoping. The bettors are reaching. But hope has no armor here, because we don't follow noise. We follow the pale hand. And the pale hand does not miss. Like, subscribe. And ask yourself one thing. Will we cash or will we burn?